Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to Apocaflix Movie News, the movie news podcast from us where we break down the biggest stories throughout the week in the world of movies. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and we got a streak going on here because we got all three of us on here again. Joining us again is Gio Ramos. What's going on, man?
Hey, good, man. Just we saw Doctor Strange last night, and awesome movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yes, definitely. We'll have a review up later, but before we get into our news topics, I also have Jake Berlin with us today. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm still recovering for a little bit of Doctor Strange. I actually tweeted at Scott Derrickson last night.
Did you?
He favorited my tweet.
Did he?
Yeah.
What'd you tweet?
I just said, great job on creating a unique film, something that's never been done before. And he totally favorited my tweet. So
yeah, I had to sleep on it, but I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
It's so different, too,
yes.
Especially for, it could exist outside of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And be totally
well, it's kind of like an Ant-Man thing where it didn't really connect to anything yet.
But I'm glad it does.
Yes.
It kind of does. But anyways, check out we'll do a spoilers review. We'll put it up later for you all. But until then, let's talk some movie news. We've got some good stuff to talk about this week. So after being announced earlier this week, Warner Bros. And DC released the second first full-length trailer for their upcoming standalone comic book film, Wonder Woman. Directed by Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman is set in the time of World War I and stars Gal Gadot as the Amazonian princess who teams up with Chris Pine's Steve Trevor in her long-awaited origin story that seems decades overdue. Wonder Woman also stars Connie Nelson, Robin Wright, Danny Huston, and hits theaters on June 2nd, 2017. So, Gio, we know you love DC. How did you feel about this trailer?
Oh, yeah, I love DC. But, yeah.
Like we don't.
Yeah.
Dude, this trailer is amazing. It's awesome. It's looking like it's going to be a hit for DC. And I was telling Jake, this looks like the movie that, for a lot of people, the DCEU is in flux. It's not doing so well. And this looks like the movie that could turn it all around for them. We're seeing Patty Jenkins do action like we've never really seen in a comic book movie before. Just looking at it in the trailers, it's shot in a way that's so unique and so it'll do well for the character and the whole world, the Amazonian world. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I don't need to see any more. I don't need any more convincing, but maybe that's just me. Steve Trevor, Chris Pine looks great. Everything, the action, we get a lot more action in this one. It's great. My only concern, and I was telling Jake this yesterday, look, the movie comes out in July, and we already have a second trailer, and we're not even in December.
Yeah.
We're barely in November. So hopefully we don't get another trailer until maybe, I don't know, Logan or whatever Marvel movie comes out in May. So, but for now, I love the trailer. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's been a long time coming.
Jake, you like superhero movies. How'd you like this trailer?
Yeah, it's a really, really good trailer. And I personally really enjoyed it. I liked it better than the first one. I am sharing the very same concerns that Gio is. I think that they're showing a little bit too much footage before we're hitting that 6-month mark or whatever it is. Kind of what they did with Batman v Superman. I think we had 2 trailers a year before the movie was coming out or something like that, and that is worrying me a little bit. But as for the trailer itself, it's pretty stunning, and it showcases the visual style of this film. DC is pretty much known for their special effects and their visuals, and this looks like the most beautiful one so far. Gal Gadot does look very strong in the role. She looks like she's really growing into an actress and this character as each movie goes along. Much better than what we saw her in Batman v Superman, even though she wasn't horrible. Chris Pine looks great. I think he's a great addition to the movie. Add a little star power in there. The villain's very interesting because a lot of people are theorizing about who he is because we see him in things in the trailer. But Danny Houston is playing the villain, and there hasn't been a character name for him yet. But you see him later on in the trailer being whipped around by her lasso, which kind of thinks that he's something other than human. Mm-hmm. And people are pointing towards the character of Ares.
Well, yeah, so, we hear for a long time that Ares.
Yeah, and he's the God of War, which World War I, and all this stuff going on. So that'd be very interesting. But it looks fun. The action's fantastic. I think the origin's very strong. I'm very interested to see stuff on her homeland as well, with her family and the warriors there and the Amazonians. There's some very cool visuals in there. Yeah,
warriors look badass.
There's some really cool stuff in there. So all things pointing up for Wonder Woman right now. I think Patty Jenkins has a lock on this, and like Gio said, it's something outside of the DCEU for now, kind of like what Captain America: The First Avenger did, where it doesn't really have to connect. which gives it a strong possibility of being the best DC movie to date, and it looks like it has a chance of being that.
Yeah, I really like the trailer a lot. I think I like the first one more, but like I told you guys last night, I'm judging the first one as a teaser and this one as a first official full-length trailer. When I think of it that way, I like the first one more, but this trailer is not disappointing at all. I really like it a lot. I do have the same concerns with you guys about 2 trailers this early. When you compare it to a movie like Logan, who just released their first trailer and it comes out several months before Wonder Woman, you can kind of judge it on that scale. But I understand why they're doing it, because when there's a lot of hype around superhero movies going on, you want to capitalize on that hype and keep it going and raise awareness that there's a Wonder Woman movie coming, and Doctor Strange is out.
And especially after the backlash of Suicide Squad.
So now you have, maybe they want people forget about Batman v Superman, forget about Suicide Squad, not completely, but the negativity around them. Let's look forward to Wonder Woman. And I'm not worried for myself, because I stay away from TV spots unless it's by accident. So I know if they're going to release 1 or 2 more full-length trailers, I'm going to watch them, especially because we review them. But all the TV spots I'm going to stay away from. So yeah, I'm not too worried. But overall, this trailer looks amazing. I think the dynamic between her and Chris Pine is going to be really good. And we talk about this, we don't really like to have love interests in our superhero films anymore, unless it's like Peter Parker with Mary Jane. You know, you have to have that in a way. Pepper Potts with Tony Stark, it works. But I would say maybe we've never seen Wonder Woman before on the big screen, so in a full-length movie of her own. So I think getting somewhat of a love story with Steve Trevor, because that is her main love interest throughout the comics,
it wouldn't hurt.
It's not bad.
You have to humanize her. She can't be all warrior.
Exactly, and I don't think it's going to overshadow the film. I think it's been Wonder Woman as an individual being a badass first, and then the relationship is just a part of that. So overall, I really like this trailer.
I have a question. Do we think that maybe Warner Brothers is thinking, okay, we really need to market this movie because, yeah, we know we're going to hit our target audience with, fans of comic book movies, but those outside, how are people sold on, how much are they sold on a female-led superhero movie? I hate to say that.
Yeah, but, it's interesting, but it's also, you got to remember, she's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, of course.
And people know her name left and right. People are here for Halloween, like all this stuff.
And they know that theme music.
And a lot of the positive things coming out of Batman v Superman was Wonder Woman. So the character is on a high right now, but I still do think they need to market her a little bit, just because we've never seen a movie of hers before.
Oh yeah.
So
it's really an event film, even though it's a solo movie.
She's very well known. She before the MCU, she was more popular than Iron Man and Captain America and all of them. She was maybe not Spider-Man, but she was in the know. She's everyone knows who she is. So I think she has that going for her. But at the same time, we're gonna go see it because we're comic book superhero movie fans, right? But imagine another group of guy friends who aren't so involved in the movie world, and they like superhero movies. Are they gonna go see Wonder Woman with their boys? I don't know.
It depends on how they feel about Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad.
And there's also another element, maybe Wonder Woman's hot. I want to go watch her for 2 hours, So who knows? We'll see. We'll all can find out. But this is a very important movie because it's the first female-led superhero film since this new era of superhero films. We've had Catwoman, and I think there was a Supergirl film a long time ago.
It's the biggest female-led film of all time. Not superhero, but film.
Oh, I agree. 100% agree. Yeah.
Female-led
film, period.
Over Kill Bill Volume 2.
Period. I think it's bigger than all of them.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So not only did we get surprised with the new look at Wonder Woman this week, but we also got our first real look at Disney's upcoming Beauty and the Beast. Although we've seen a short yet magical teaser trailer, the footage didn't offer any serious looks at the characters. Well, that's no more, as Entertainment Weekly has unveiled a slew of new images giving us our first look at the characters, including Emma Watson's Belle, Kevin Kline's Maurice, Luke Evans' Gaston, Josh Gad's LeFou, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, Plummet, and of course Dan Stevens' motion capture high effects Beast. Bill Condon's Beauty and the Beast also stars Ian McKellen, Ewan McGregor, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Emma Thompson, and opens on March 17th, 2017. So being that Beauty and the Beast is my favorite animated film of all time, I'll go ahead and talk about this first. And man, this almost brings tears to my eyes because these images are amazing. They really are. Like every single one I look at, it's like spot on. I mean, they don't look exactly like the characters, but it's as perfect as it can be in live action. Like Emma Watson, I adore her. I adore her, especially after Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, fantastic!
And Belle is my favorite Disney princess. Yeah, I have a favorite Disney princess.
I think everybody does.
And I'm just so infatuated with that. And then the one with Gaston and LaFoe, like I just can already see it being brought to life.
Josh Gad looks so good as LaFoe.
And because he looks great as
Luke
Gaston.
Evans,
Like who else would, I don't know, like I feel like The Rock could play Gaston. That would be a pretty good one.
In a very campy version
of
Gaston.
If you're going to go like more realistic and grounded, I think Evans is perfect for that. And the clock and the candle, and that looks pretty cool. I didn't like the first image that came out.
Well, Lumiere's different in that image.
And I like this. So now he's like humanized. So he's going to like walk around like that. And I'm still curious. I remember how we talked about this before, Jake, but we talked about how in the animated film they're humans, and with the spell they turn into these objects. So is that still going to be the case or not? We'll have to see. I'm pretty sure they'll figure out a way to incorporate that. Well, I love everything. You don't get that good of an image of beasts, and it kind of looks fake, but
the effects aren't
not going to lie.
Yeah,
I don't love the look of Beast yet. But we'll find out. Jake, you saw these images. How do you feel about them?
I kind of feel the same way. They look really, really good. Disney, their special effects have been fantastic. I mean, the Jungle Book, obviously a triumph that hasn't been done before. But I kind of feel the same way about Beast. And I don't really remember the animated film as best as you do, but I don't remember him having horns. Did he have horns?
He did. But not. Okay. They weren't as like.
It kind of blends in. It blends in with his hair.
Yeah, it blends in with his hair, and he's bigger in the animated film.
Okay.
And the horns kind of like stick closer to his head. Okay. So you don't really see him that well. But in this one, they're like way out there. And
Interesting.
They're like, there's a lot of space between the horns and his head.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the look of Beast. I just think that, the effects aren't done yet. I think that they'll be on top once the film's released. Emma Watson looks fantastic as Belle. I mean, that was kind of, that's obvious when she was cast. Cogsworth, Lumiere, they all look really, really strong. I remember Mrs. Potts being a little bit bigger. She looks really small in this image. So that'll be something interesting to go with. Kevin Kline, he looks fantastic. We don't see much of him anymore. It's so strong. And, what was interesting, what I read when they released these images is that I guess they're changing Belle's backstory a little bit. And I guess in the animated movie, her father was an inventor.
Yes.
She's the inventor.
Nice.
In this movie now.
I like that.
And to give her a little bit of backstory, to give her something to do while she's there, I guess. So that's going to be interesting to see. It looks great. And, I have all faith in Disney as far as what they do. I mean, they're pretty much killing these animated to live action properties. So I'm definitely in on Beauty and the Beast. I'm just waiting for that first full length trailer, man.
Yeah, that's going to be something amazing. Gio, you saw the images. What do you think?
I echo everything you guys said. I'm really interested in seeing how the Beast looks like in actual footage.
Yeah, and how he moves and everything.
Yeah, right now I agree with Jacob. He doesn't look as good as I hoped. I mean, the horns are a little out. Crossover between Hellboy and
it's a weird first image to let him fully be seen in.
If they released just the cover of the magazine, that would have been cool. But the second image, gives a very different look at him.
Yeah, and Belle, Emma Watson, she looks great. All the outfits that we see, we recognize. She's doing in Doctor Strange's sanatorium right there.
The Sanctum?
Sanctum, yeah. And even what's Gareth Evans?
Luke Evans.
I want to say Gareth Evans. I'm thinking of the Raid. Anyways, he looks great. Like he looks like he's having so much fun in this role. Like
he's gonna have fun.
He might even do a number. Like he might be like singing.
Oh, they're gonna be singing.
Yeah. So this looks great, man. I can't wait for the first trailer to come out. These Disney live action movies, they're really hitting. They're batting 1,000. Well,
no,
maybe.
I mean,
they're like 3 for 4 right now.
Well, I haven't seen Maleficent yet, so I don't know. Like for me, they're batting 1,000.
I think you're forgetting the Alice in Wonderland films. If you count those, they are Disney live action adaptations.
Okay, so right now
I don't think they're done by Disney though.
They are.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
Okay, so they're not batting 1,000, but they're still doing good. So
Yeah.
Well,
they're
Jacob,
doing
look-
great. Well, the recent films. I mean, Alice in Wonderland 2. Forget about that.
Let me ask you this: so Gaston dies in the anime film, correct?
Yes.
Do you think he'll die in this movie?
See, I was wondering that. I was like, that's really dark in the first film that he dies. I don't think so.
Because this is like
but
a franchise thing.
All
They
right.
can do multiple.
Before Jungle Book, I would have said, no way they're killing Gaston. They want it to be more family oriented, family friendly, like live action, and the way they're going to be fighting, it's already going to be too edgy. But after seeing Jungle Book, I think anything's on the table. There's a lot of dark stuff that happens in Jungle Book, so I think they might. I think it's a possibility, but I don't think they will.
Okay.
Because you're right, they could do a franchise with this, and he's a very strong character, and you might want to bring him back in the future. So, who knows? All right, with Marvel's Doctor Strange hitting theaters this weekend, the big question has been, how does this character fit into the extended MCU and the upcoming Infinity War? While making the rounds for the press tour of Scott Derrickson's film, Marvel head Kevin Feige sat down with Vulture and talked about which character team-ups he's most excited to see, saying the following, quote, "There are so many, but I would say, both because of the characters and the actors who've created them, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark," end quote. Feige continued by saying we should prepare ourselves for unexpected team-ups in both Infinity War films and post-Infinity War, with more intimate movies and more interesting unexpected combinations of characters. So Jake, you hear these comments, what do you think, man?
They're great comments for one. I think hearing Doctor Strange and Tony Stark together is just really kind of just a nerdy thing.
Oh
to
yeah,
hear.
that's the one.
With Doctor Strange coming out, there's all kinds of memes going around. They're calling them the Goatee Brothers because they have the facial hair, and they're probably two of the smartest individuals in the Marvel Universe. Period. They're part of the Illuminati, so it would make sense for them to show up together. It's going to be very interesting because after watching Doctor Strange last night. He may be, he probably is the most powerful character in the MCU. Him and Scarlet Witch are kind of at a tie right now.
Yeah, it just depends. Like, once Doctor Strange masters his full potential,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah,
until Captain Marvel comes into play.
Yeah, and
We'll
I'm
see.
very interested to see how he kind of comes into play with the Avengers and Tony Stark. Like, I'm sure Tony Stark's going to reach out to him because that's what Tony Stark does. He reaches out to all the big characters. I really like, Kevin Feige's comments about more intimate movies. He talked about not going so much on scale rather than focusing on the character moments as far as movies going forward. And he mentioned the Civil War airport scene, like where it may have seemed big. It was more about Iron Man versus Captain America. It wasn't world-ending, stuff like that. So, but as far as characters I want to see, I obviously see one of the Guardians in there. Rocket Raccoon with anybody. Drax with someone like Tony Stark or even Doctor Strange. Especially after watching him last night, he's so much more funny than I thought he was. Like the jokes he makes and just how he goes about life. He's kind of almost like Tony Stark, just a little bit more arrogant.
Yeah,
So-
they have very similar origin stories.
Yeah,
too,
so
in a
I'm
way.
excited going forward. I think Infinity War is going to offer a ton of possibilities as far as team ups go. Very odd team ups as well. I don't think we'll see team ups coming. It'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Well,
but
we look at Thor Ragnarok. We got
Yeah.
Thor and the Hulk, which is it makes sense because how powerful they both are. But we didn't see that coming until they announced it.
Exactly. Well, and we kind of got a glimpse of it as well in Civil War with Falcon and Bucky. Like you wouldn't see those two normally team up together, but they were kind of partnered up together. So they're kind of introducing it here a little bit, but Infinity Wars they're going to offer so much more
Well,
possibilities.
because everyone's going to be splitting up
Exactly.
into
There's gonna
different
be
groups.
like
and-
Star-Lord with Captain America or Gamora.
because they're going to be
with
different
someone,
needs. Like they're going to have to
Black
protect
Widow, yeah.
different areas of Earth, which is going to be awesome. All right, Gio, you love Marvel so much. So what did you think of these comments?
Oh, I really love Marvel, but I like the comments. Like you said, Doctor Strange and Iron Man, they're kind of the same, character. Kind of same personalities. They're they both have similar origin stories. And as far as who I want to see team up, I mean. This is nothing new. The Defenders, the Netflix people, and Avengers. That's who I want to see team up. It'll likely never happen, but
you never know.
One
though.
can still hope,
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but I just imagine if there's going to be foot soldiers on Thanos' side, who's going to fight him on the ground, I mean,
Shield.
Shield, but people like the Defenders would be
yeah,
one.
the street level
exactly,
characters,
and you could
yeah.
have like Spider-Man leading them
Well,
or something.
now it's never going to happen, but You have the Defenders in New York. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, it operates in LA a lot.
Does
And
it?
That's where Ghost Rider's from.
Okay.
Like, it's never going to happen, but just imagine if you had those two and two sides of the country, you know?
It can make sense. They'll probably do a West Coast Avengers one day.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be
that would
awesome.
be cool. Any last thoughts on the
Well, what
comments?
the last thing I'll mention is what I've imagined for the MCU and for comic book movies going forward is that you can't really ever have just one character or superhero in a movie anymore. You know, these movies need to continue to evolve and push the boundaries, and by doing that is featuring other characters in other movies. Thor or Hulk and Thor Ragnarok, maybe Bucky and Black Panther.
Well, it already. They did it with Iron Man 2 right
Iron
away.
Man 2.
I think with the first film in a character's franchise, like Doctor Strange, you're not going to see any. But sequels, yeah. Because think about it, Doctor Strange didn't have. He was working with Mordo, but he didn't have an outside Avenger
Benedict
character.
Wong was kicking some ass in
Yeah.
that movie, so yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think every sequel and
You need
from
to
now
have-
on is gonna have a team up.
It needs
in
to be
it.
more
Look
connected,
at Winter
yeah.
Soldier was a
Ant-Man
team
and the
up.
Wasp.
They're like mini Avengers films. Like I always say, Winter Soldier is a mini Avengers film.
Sure.
in a way,
It's
it kinda
Avengers
is.
1.5.
Exactly. So, and if Civil War's not
That's
an
2.5.
Avengers film, then what is it? Yeah, I love these comments so much because I kind of already expected this, but to hear him say that is awesome. Like, I want to see Doctor Strange and Spider-Man team up because like we've seen it in the comics before and the cartoons. Like that was a big one that I want. I know Captain Marvel is going to be coming in, and we don't know if she's going to be in Infinity War Part 1 or not, but especially now since I'm reading Civil War 2 in the comics, I want to see Captain Marvel and Tony Stark build a strong relationship like right away and work together. So if they're going to do Civil War 2 later on in the MCU, that it's even more impactful because they've become close. So I think those are two team ups that I would really look forward to. All right, so moving on, our second trailer of the show is for a movie that many of us forgot was actually coming. Last weekend saw the release of the first trailer for Life, with the Daniel Espinosa sci-fi horror thriller film stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, and Rebecca Ferguson as astronauts part of the crew on the International Space Station who discover and come into contact with the first living organism from Mars that becomes much more dangerous than first imagined. Life is released on May 26th of next year. So, Gio, you watched this trailer. How'd you feel about it?
Oh man, I was pretty freaked out because look, our world is so interested about other life forms from other places outside of our world, and sometimes we got to be careful because we may get what we ask for, and this trailer kind of sums up my fears. It's just like, oh, you see this little speck, oh, it's so cute, next thing you know it's taking over your body, it's inside you, like it's creepy. And that's what I love about this, is that it's kind of in a confined space. They're in a spaceship right there. You have this little, what did they ever say what it was? It's
No,
just
I don't think
they don't
so.
even they don't even know what
It's like
it
a little
was.
organism.
Yeah, and next thing you know, it's like you're stuck in a spaceship with this thing that can likely, go anywhere. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I love the setting. I love the cast. Ryan Reynolds. I want to see more of him outside of what he's been doing lately, which is these rom-com things. Like, I don't know if he's ever been, besides Buried. Has he ever been in a horror movie like?
I wouldn't call Buried a horror movie.
Well, not really horror, but
he was in
scary
the,
elements.
the Amityville Horror remake.
Oh, that's right. He was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
He was in Blade. He did Blade 3.
Once upon a time. Yeah, let's not talk about that one. But anyways, yeah, Rebecca Ferguson, Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I love the setting. I love the premise. I'm very interested. When does this come out?
This comes out next March, I think it is.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be great. I'm excited. So
yeah, I think that it looks like a good sci-fi horror, and it's something that you don't see a lot of sci-fi horror take place in space anymore, and that's something that I'm excited for. Obviously, the cast is remarkable. Gyllenhaal is probably my top working actor today. I love anything he does. Reynolds, I think he's very underappreciated. He does, like you said, the rom-coms and that kind of stuff, and it kind of hurts him a little bit. But I think he's a very talented guy. We saw him in Deadpool, fantastic. Rebecca Ferguson, obviously after Mission Impossible, people are loving her, just downright. They're putting her in everything. And the supporting cast looks strong as well. There's a bunch of kind of unknown actors and actresses, but They look like they're going to play off of the big names very well. It's a very interesting concept as well, because Mars, it's something that we've all wondered about. We've always wondered about, and I think that at some point we'll find out something concrete, and to kind of play with it in film is very interesting. And just the fact that there could be life up there and what it could be and all that kind of stuff is interesting to see. And Daniel Espinosa seems to have captured it very well in a trailer, at least. So hopefully the film is as strong as the trailer, and it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like this trailer a lot. I had no idea this movie was even coming out, and I didn't know that was Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah,
that's her.
Yeah.
I was wondering who that was, and I mean, I've only seen her in one thing, so I wouldn't expect myself to recognize her right away. But you just tell me any movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, I'm in. You don't have to tell me anything else. I don't care what it's about.
Yeah, that's the first thing you said.
Those two actors in a movie together, they're two of my favorite working today, hands down. And I can't wait to see that. And it looks like they're cool, but then one of them has to turn on each other. And it's all about survival, so anything goes at that point.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe the organism messes with their brain or mind or something,
Yeah, and I love this trailer because they could have easily shown us everything, shown us what is actually going on. They don't even show you what the thing's doing to his hand. And I don't want to watch any more trailers with this about
You're
this
intrigued.
movie.
That's all you need.
Yeah, and this is all I need. They say Memorial Day, so
May.
we still got a while for this movie to come out. But yeah, I wish I could just not watch any more trailers from now on. But I know we're going to end up watching them for our podcast. But yeah, I'm digging this movie. It'll be on my radar next year for sure. All right, in the unexpected news of the week, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2, not the new one that's coming out in a couple weeks, they already got a sequel planned, has found a prominent new cast member. You might have heard of him. Although the first film has yet to be released, Warner Bros. Has announced via Deadline that Johnny Depp has been added to the cast of David Yates' magical sequel. While who he is playing is still a mystery, we may know here pretty soon, as it's thought that Depp may have a quick appearance in the first Fantastic Beasts. Directed by David Yates, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them wands its way into theaters on November 18th. All right, Jake, you love Beasts, so how'd you like this? How do you like this casting?
News. It's interesting, I think the first thing that comes to mind is the movie's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's announced in the sequel. I think that's, again, when they announce the sequel, we're thinking, oh, they have so much confidence in this movie. It's gonna hit big. Obviously, David Yates, who directed the last 4 Harry Potter movies, is directing this one. J.K. Rowling, who wrote the books, is writing the script. So it seems like it's going to be a hit. As for Johnny Depp, cool. He plays these type of roles very well. We don't know what he's playing, so it's interesting going forward. There's a lot of theories out there. Apparently there's a big bad who is teased in this film, but isn't actually shown, who people are thinking he's going to play. I think his name is Grindelwald.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be the franchise big bad, kind of like Voldemort was for the Harry Potter movies. But also a lot of people are theorizing that he could be playing a young Dumbledore, which is insane. And a lot of people are kind of hating on it. A lot of people are liking the idea. I don't know how I'd feel about it, but Johnny Depp in this movie makes sense. I think it's he plays wacky roles very well, but this is a very different kind of wacky role. This isn't Alice in Wonderland or anything like that. So I'm in for it, and I'm very much looking forward to Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I think there's an undeserved negativity surrounding Johnny Depp. I think people just got tired of him doing those stupid roles, but I think he's kind of turning his career around. We saw that Black Mass movie, and that was great. And I don't blame him for what was that comedy, that rated R comedy that came out.
Mordecai.
Yeah, Mordecai.
I couldn't even finish that.
So I think by the time that movie came out, he probably was like, "What the hell was I thinking?" But it was too late. The studio's going to release it no matter what. But we see they're doing the new Pirates movie, and we haven't seen him in the trailer yet. But that movie looks good.
Yeah, the trailer was good.
I think that can be a turnaround for his career as well. So if he keeps taking these roles, and it's not and I trust David Yates and Warner Bros. When it comes to this property with the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts property. So I think if they're handling him as a character, I think it's going to be great. And I love this casting. I think I like Johnny Depp a lot, and him playing any role would be amazing. And if it's Dumbledore, all the more better. I like it. Gio, how do you feel about this casting?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I could buy him in either role. I mean, Dumbledore, that's such an iconic character in this Harry Potter universe. Who better than Johnny Depp? At the same time, to see him potentially play a villain. Like, I mean, we kind of got a little bit of that in a lot of that in Black Mass.
A villain in like a blockbuster film would be really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just see him in that world, and using some powers and stuff. Like, I'm buying it. This Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him that's coming out soon. It could really set things in motion for even greater things to come for this Harry Potter universe, which for a while we all thought was over and done with. Maybe the next Harry Potter film we get is a reboot, but no, it looks like they can do more, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think they're actually going to make the Cursed Child movie one day, which is like when they're older and the actors can come back. I think
there's no way I don't think there's no way they won't.
Don't do it. I know. That would be
throw
amazing.
So much money. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it'll make freaking like $2 billion.
It'll become a franchise again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to our next story. So there's no denying that a lot of fans are looking forward to Ezra Miller's Flash character following a few quick cameos and the Justice League trailer appearance. But his standalone film is in quite a rough spot. Following the departure of director Seth Grahame-Smith, Warner Bros. Hired dope director Rick Famuyiwa, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, to take over the project. But unfortunately, fast forward to this week and The Flash has lost another director. First reported by Hollywood Reporter, Famuyiwa has left the project due to creative differences, with THR sources saying the dope director's vision of making a movie with more edge clash with the studio's take. So what does this mean going forward? It likely means a push back for the project, which will frustrate a lot of fans if Miller's Flash is a hit next year. So Flash currently has a March 18th, 2018 release date. Gio, I'll let you go ahead and give your opinion on this. How do you feel about Famuyiwa leaving the project?
Oh, God. Here we go. I can already hear all the comments and remarks and everyone going, this movie's in trouble. It's the next Gambit, this and that. I'm interested to see what Jake has to say, too. All right. Look. All right. I was very interested to see Rick Famuyiwa do this movie. We all love Dope. We all love how the humor in Dope and how it could kind of translate that coming of age to the Flash, where he kind of maybe they tell his origin story, maybe they brush through it really quick, but it's all about him coming into his own and dealing with his own powers and whatnot. Him departing, it doesn't upset me as much because look, we know these directors, they have to compromise, and right now, DC, Warner Brothers, whoever, they're trying to right this ship, and they're doing so by bringing in Jeff Johns, giving Ben Affleck a pay raise, all this and that. They're making the movies more about the bigger picture, instead of one director's vision for the entire universe. A lot of people, they complain about Zack Snyder and how these DC movies aren't even DC movies. They're more Zack Snyder movies. Okay, well, WB doesn't want The Flash to be a Rick Famuyiwa movie. Like, do you guys get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what Marvel does too.
Correct. Yeah. So I look at this as kind of like not too big of a loss. The movie still is 2 years. No, is it
20? It was scheduled for 2018.
Yeah, I think it'll be pushed back a few months, but I don't think it's to the point where you need to panic. I mean, they've been working on the script. They have some of the cast members, set. Well, who knows if the dope girl drops out as Iris West? Who knows? But I'd be really interested to see, like, in the next few weeks if they announce a director or they push the release date back. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think it's a big loss, and this is the second director that has left the project due to creative differences, and that the creative differences umbrella is so big, like we don't know exactly what that means,
right, that
or
could
who
be,
it's with,
yeah.
And who knows if what the description is if it's actually true or not. But just theorizing, like, what if there's creative differences with Jeff Johns as far as where they want to take this film and project? It's not going to turn on a lot of directors when you hear two directors have left the project already, and it's it is trouble. I think that after the Justice League trailer and Suicide Squad, people are looking forward to this character, and the fact that a director has left the project for a second time is a big bummer. And I wasn't on board with Ezra Miller as the Flash. when he was announced, but I was looking forward to the character because the Flash is one of my favorites. So it is. I think it's a big loss. You know, he was a great director on Dope. I think he did something so good. Kind of a young adult, you know, coming of age story in a way, and that's almost what the Flash is. You know, he's young in this universe, and like you said in the Justice League trailer, he doesn't have a lot of friends and like all this stuff, and so I think he would have captured that kind of film very, you know, just strongly. And like you said, it's gonna be interesting to see who stays on board with him gone now. But I hope that DC kind of gets it around and gets this movie going, because I do want to see it sooner rather than later. I just hope that this isn't, or I hope that this is the last time this happens. And moving forward, they're able to lock down directors and kind of, you know, collaborate before everything kind of goes into pre-production.
If it happens again, I don't have anything to say.
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
It's interesting, you know, creative differences. It's like, why would there be differences after you hire a guy? Like,
Right.
why wouldn't there be differences when you hire him and when he pitches the movie and whatnot? You know, it's not like his direction has changed or whatever. Or maybe they changed something in Justice League and they wanted to go a direction and he didn't want to go that direction or something. I mean, there's so many possibilities.
Maybe he didn't want Cyborg in the movie.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
So.
I also think that creative differences is just the label they tap on every departure. Every time a director leaves a property or a
Scheduling
film,
conflicts.
they say creative differences. That's like just the most generic thing you could possibly say. There's more to it. Who knows? It probably has to do with creative differences, but there's obviously a lot more to it with each situation. I'm upset about this, not because I'm worried about DC or Warner Bros. Or like them as running this franchise, like the whole DCEU, but I'm upset because I really wanted Femi Yuad to direct this movie. Like the Dope movie is freaking awesome. That movie is great, and the sense of humor in it is amazing. And we know Ezra Miller's Flash is going to have a sense of humor. And I am a huge fan of the Flash TV show, so I wanted something very different with the movie Flash. And I was like, this is the perfect director to bring something different, fresh, and original to this character in this universe. And now he leaves. So I'm kind of, when I first saw this, I was really upset. Now they're going to bring in another director, and it's going to be fine, but just I really wanted him to direct it, so on that point I'm really upset about it.
Did you guys see him at Comic-Con with the
Yeah, he was with all of them. Yeah.
He seemed excited, so I'm
Well,
curious yourself, like what happened?
He's been you can tell, like, if you go to his Twitter page, he's posting images of like the comics he's reading and like all that stuff. He was pumped and just kind of came out of nowhere, like the whole Tim Miller thing. So
yeah, it's really disappointing. All right, well, last week brought the news that Deadpool director was leaving the sequel due to those damn creative differences. Again, see what I'm talking about? This time the producer and star Ryan Reynolds. While it's a bummer to know that we won't see Miller's take on a sequel, which includes the futuristic X-Men Cable, we now know that what Miller's next big project is. According to the Hollywood Reporter, although he won't be directing, Miller will be developing and executive producing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which will be directed by first-timer Jeff Fowler.
Yeah.
The plan is to make a CGI/live-action hybrid movie following the adventures of Sonic and his friends. Sonic the Hedgehog currently has no set release date. I'll go ahead and start this one. I don't really care that much about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Whoa.
I played it as a kid, but it wasn't my favorite video game. And Tim Miller on it's a positive, so I'll give it that. But other than that, like, I don't really care. But thumbs up, Tim Miller. Gio?
Man, Sonic is the face of Sega. Man, like one of the most iconic video game characters. And if Tim Miller had to leave Deadpool for another project, I don't know if I would have thought Sonic first, but this kind of makes perfect sense because for anyone who knows the Sonic character, he's kind of a wisecracking, smart ass, The fact that he's fast, he uses that to his villain's abilities. So there's some relation between the Deadpool character and Sonic. Maybe Sonic breaks the fourth wall. I think that'd be pretty awesome. But
I could see that.
Yeah.
He's like the Flash and Deadpool mixed together.
Yeah, and I've been excited, like, ever since I saw things like, maybe not Smurfs, but like Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like how
If
they
he
pulled
looks
off
like
that visual
I
effects.
could see that. I don't want it to look like Smurfs where it looks like animated.
Oh, no, not at all.
In the live action world.
Yeah, this film has so much potential. And look, Tim Miller and his visual company was Blur.
So, yeah. Blur. I think is
both
what
of
it
them
is.
on this project, it gives me hope. Like let's do this. Let's make it happen. I'm excited. Sonic is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in between both of you. I didn't really play Sonic as a kid. I had Sega, but I didn't really play Sonic. But it's not like I'm not looking forward to it. I think it's interesting. The whole CGI live action thing is a little bit worrying, obviously, because we've seen things like Smurfs and whatnot. But it's interesting, Tim Miller, the only film he's ever directed was Deadpool, and it was an instant hit, and he captured what that character was so well. So I have faith that he can do the same thing with Sonic. I'm super bummed that he's not on Deadpool 2, but that's a whole different story. So what's interesting is he's not even directing this movie; he's just developing it and kind of like executive producing. And one of his longtime buddies that he's collaborating with is actually directing it, so that's interesting as well.
Oh, I thought he was directing.
No, he's not even directing it.
It's forget everything I said.
It's someone. It's someone. It's someone.
I was confused when you were talking about it. I was like, all right.
Someone he's worked with for a long time is actually directing it as his first feature film. So it'll be interesting. I mean, these movies. It depends on who they aim it for, and if they aim it towards kids, it's going to be a big hit. If they aim it towards like a teenage, young adult age group, who knows what it'll be like. But Tim Miller on board, that's always a plus.
I wanted James Gunn to direct, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be rated R too. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing. They can go to some places. Yeah.
All right, moving on to our not new anymore. I gotta stop saying newest segment. So one of the staples of our show, which is Take One or Leave One, and today we got 3 trailers. So our one and only matchup for the show today includes a trio of new trailer released this past week. The first is for Gifted, which stars Chris Evans as a loving uncle raising his niece Mary, whose child prodigy status draws him into a custody battle with his mother. The film is directed by Mark Webb and opens on April 12, 2017. The second trailer is for the upcoming holiday comedy Office Christmas Party, which follows a branch manager and his employees throwing an epic Christmas party to impress a client after their CEO threatens to shut them down. It stars Jason Bateman, TJ Miller, Olivia Munn, Kate McKinnon, Jennifer Aniston, and is released on December 9th of this year. The final trailer is for Wilson, which stars Woody Harrelson as a lonely, neurotic, and hilariously honest middle-aged man who reunites with his estranged wife following finding out he has a teenage daughter. Wilson also stars Laura Dern and opens on March 24th, 2017. All right, Jake, you put these 3 trailers together for us. Which one are you taking and which 2 are you leaving?
Yeah, this is probably one of the harder trailer take one leave ones that we've had. These are 3 pretty strong trailers, and I actually switched it up yesterday. I actually had the XXX trailer in there, but it was so bad that I took it out. And
Sorry, Vin Diesel.
I haven't seen it.
No one was going to choose that, so
it's horrible.
It's so bad.
It's not good.
So bad. But anyway, these 3 trailers, Gifted, Office Christmas Party, and Wilson, very strong, 3 very different type of films. Office Christmas Party is kind of like, that's the obvious choice because it's a big budget comedy. It's a holiday comedy starring big names. But I'm actually going to go with Wilson. Because Woody Harrelson, I don't know what it was about that trailer, but it just caught me, and I had so much fun with it. He just kind of... Woody Harrelson is this guy, you either really like him or you don't like him. He has this very distinct style of acting.
Who doesn't like him?
I didn't like him, and now you see me too.
Yeah, so...
yeah, in one of his roles.
Yeah, but this type of role, it's something that, it's almost like you want him to play this type of role, and he kind of is accustomed to playing this type of role. Very vulgar, very straightforward. You get a little bit of Laura Dern in there. Mm-hmm. It's a Red Band trailer too, which makes it even that much better.
Yeah.
R-rated comedy. I'm totally in, starring Woody Harrelson. Nothing against Gifted, starring Chris Evans. I think that trailer is fantastic. Really strong story too. Something for a lot of families to go to. It can relate to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Office Christmas Party looks like the comedy of the Christmas time this fall. So. But I'm going to take Wilson just because of Woody Harrelson and what he brought to the trailer. So,
Gio, who you got?
I'm going to I love Wilson. I love all these trailers. They're all great. If I had to choose one, I got to go with the Office Christmas Party, I just saw the trailer right now with you. It has everything that you would want in a comedy. You have that R-rated slapstick. You got a great cast, a premise that's still you just go in and you have fun with it, Courtney B. Vance, if you guys haven't seen the FX crime story OJ, He's amazing.
Oh, that's where he's from. Okay, I couldn't
Amazing
recognize
in
him.
that
Yeah,
one.
okay.
And then to see him go from that to, an R-rated comedy, it's just hilarious. T.J. Miller, he's great in anything. And Jennifer Aniston playing, the bossy bitch.
T.J. Miller's sister in
Yeah.
the movie. Yeah.
Kind of going into her horrible boss's role a little bit,
That's very true.
It
Good
is.
call.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. It's great. There's gonna be a lot of great movies coming out during Christmas time, but it's nice to have that one that's just offers so much in a comedy. So
Yeah, I actually really like all three of these trailers, and it's weird because usually when we have Take One or Leave One, it's either like 3 bad trailers or 2 bad trailers or like 1 good one and 1 bad one, but all 3 of these are good. But it's funny that you chose that one and you chose that one because I'm going with Gifted. This movie looks incredible to me. And see, I like Mark Webb as a director, and I think even though I 100% agree that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a bad film, I think there's enough good elements in there where I see where he was going and the studio came in and altered that movie. But
first one's great.
yeah, the first one's really good.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I'm glad for him to like go back to his roots, like doing these small indie, like heart-filled, kind of with some comedy, indie films. So I'm really looking forward to this movie. Chris Evans in a dramatic role that's aside from Captain America. Like I'm happy for him to do something like that. And this just kind of like tugged on my heartstrings a little bit, like the little girl. And I love like movies about intelligence and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with the Gifted trailer. All right, to end our movie news show like we usually do, we're gonna end it with Showdown Sunday. So Gio, what do we got this week for Showdown Sunday?
Speaking of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm gonna put 2 comic book romances together, and you guys tell me which one is better. Okay, now in this golden age of comic book movies, there really isn't that many comic book romance parts that are really
Cap
good.
and Sharon Carter,
Fantastic.
my favorite of all time.
Winner, chicken.
We haven't seen enough of that.
I'm just kidding.
Cap and Bucky.
Yeah, there you go.
Cap and Bucky, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Poe and Finn.
Poe and that's not comic book, buddy. Come on now.
Technically, it is. There's Star Wars comics.
But there really haven't been that many good ones. I mean, you got Thor and Jane Foster. I mean, nobody really cares about that. People want to see Lady Sif instead. But
True.
Steven and Christine. The new
oh,
one.
it took me a moment I was like, what?
But strange.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with 2, and you guys pick which one you like more and why. So the first one, pretty obvious. Well, maybe not, but Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, played by Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow. She basically, Pepper Potts basically is like the backbone of Tony Stark. Tony Stark's the boss, and then their ongoing relationship, just working relationship, blossomed into something else. And the second one is Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield.
So we're going the Amazing Spider-Man one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, not the Tobey Maguire one. That I don't know what that was, like, dancing and singing and all that stuff. But anyways, which one do you guys like more? The Amazing Spider-Man romance.
This is
or
hard
the Iron
because
Man
these are
romance?
2 of the good ones.
Yes.
Like it's rare where it actually works. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned Deadpool and his girl. That was great.
Vanessa.
Yes.
Deadpool and Vanessa.
But I didn't mention that one because it's only one movie so far. But I wanted to pick one with multiple.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right. So I really like Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in the first one, but in the second one, it annoyed me. I thought they went too far. They spent too much time with dialogue between them 2, and it kept going back to that and destroying the momentum of the film. So I'm going to go with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. And even if it wasn't for that, even if Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just as good as Amazing Spider-Man 1 with their chemistry, I'd probably still go Tony Stark and Pepper Potts because I just love their back and forth together. Like, if you take a look at their relationship from the first Iron Man all the way to now, it's a great relationship, like as far as the ups and downs and the back and forths, and how that she was just his assistant, and then he they fell in love, and how they're so very different. And then the perfect thing which epitomizes their entire relationship is her in the first Avengers movie. Like that when Agent Coulson first when he goes to recruit him, that scene is hilarious. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tony and Pepper for this one.
Jake?
Yeah, it's actually a little bit harder than I thought it was because I really enjoyed the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. I thought that Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield did a fantastic job of portraying them and kind of
Their
giving
chemistry.
It was just and they were also dating at the time, so it kind of worked. And man, this is hard. This is harder than I thought it would be, but I think
Easily the best part of those films.
yeah, I think that I'm gonna go with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts just because Jacob reminded us of that scene right here, but that scene is fantastic. There's so many good scenes. I mean, there's the scene on top of the roof. I think it was following Iron Man 2 when Rhodey's up there in the War Machine outfit.
Yeah.
There's just so many good things between them, and I'm bummed that Gwyneth Paltrow kind of wanted to end her Marvel run because I would have liked to see more of her. But I'm going to take Tony Stark and Pepper Potts just because it was a little bit more flourished. We didn't get to see very much of Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker as much as I wished, but both of them are very, very strong. But I'll take Pepper Potts and Tony Stark.
Yeah. Up until now, I was going with Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, but then you reminded me of just how their relationship at times got in the way of the movie, And then I got reminded of how stupid Gwen was when she decided to stick around at the end.
And die.
Spoiler, when obviously it's not a safe area, but the Green Goblin comes, no, I'm going to stay still. Like, oh, fine, whatever. But, I mean, on the flip side of that, I think we all felt something when she died. Well, her head and then
myself throw up.
Yeah, well, but I'm going with Pepper and Tony. I think about that rooftop scene in Iron Man 1 where they're having a moment and then she asks for a drink and then later on at the end of the movie she and Tony's like, you remember that moment we had? And she's like, oh, you mean the one where you left me on the roof by myself, this and that. So I'm going to go with them. They have a better relationship. It's more fluid. It's more consistent, and it pays off at the end. And we want to see more of it.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that's going to end Apocaflix Movie News for this week. I want to thank Gio for joining us again. Let them know where they can find you online.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GioRamos24 and check out apocaflixmovies.com.
Jake?
Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake, apocaflixmovies.com every day. This YouTube channel. Check us out. The Padawan Podcast, all Star Wars all the time.
And you can find me, Jacob Bartley, on Twitter at @JacobBartley_, and on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit that like button. We truly do appreciate it. Until next time, you all take care.